Today I want to take you on a journey through the scriptures, to a passage that teaches us a profound lesson on faith, perseverance, and preparation. We find our story in the book of 2 Kings, chapter 3. It's a story of kings, armies, and a seemingly impossible situation. But it's also a story of unwavering faith and the importance of preparing for God's blessings, even before we can see them. In 2 Kings 3, we find the kings of Israel, Judah, and Edom joining forces to fight against the king of Moab. They set out on their journey, but soon find themselves in a desperate situation. They run out of water in the midst of a parched wilderness. The situation seems dire, and the kings are on the brink of despair. But in the midst of this desperation, God sends a message to the kings through the prophet Elisha. He tells them that God will provide water and deliver the Moabites into their hands. However, before this victory can be realized, there is a task they must undertake. Elisha instructs them to dig ditches all across the valley. Now, imagine the confusion of those kings. Digging ditches in a dry wilderness when they're already desperate for water? It must have seemed like a pointless task, a waste of time and energy. But Elisha assures them that these ditches are not for themselves, but for God to fill with water. They are to prepare for God's blessings even before they can see them. But here's the lesson we can learn from this story. Faith requires action. It requires us to step out in obedience, even when it doesn't make sense. Just like those kings had to pick up their shovels and dig, we too must take action in preparation for the blessings God wants to pour out upon us. Digging those ditches was an act of faith. It was a declaration that despite the dryness of their circumstances, they believed in the promises of God. And beloved, we must have that same faith. We must prepare for God's blessings with expectant hearts, even when everything around us screams doubt and despair. The story doesn't end with the digging of the ditches. No, God fulfills His promise. He sends water flowing into those ditches, filling them to the brim. The armies of Israel, Judah, and Edom drink their fill and then some. And when the Moabites see the water shining red in the morning sun, they mistake it for blood and rush in, only to be defeated by the very armies they sought to destroy. God's blessings often come in unexpected ways, at unexpected times. But if we are faithful, if we persevere in obedience, we will see His hand move in our lives. So, beloved, I urge you today, start digging your ditches. Prepare for God's blessings even before you can see them. Trust in His promises, and know that He is faithful to fulfill them. May we be a people of faith, willing to take action even in the face of impossibility. And may we never forget the lesson of the ditches, that when we prepare for God's blessings, He will pour them out upon us in abundance. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.